You've been doing a lot of work with the Super Dolls. Will we ever see them over here with you too in the US?
Well, hopefully, yeah. Right now, they're in France. So I was also supposed to go with them, but I'm also here. But I'm also glad to be here because it's both Anime Expo. Yeah, hopefully we'll be together here in the US.
Do you have any other upcoming projects with them?
Yes, because I'll be there actually half of my time. So half of the time I'm in Manila and then Tokyo. So back and forth, I'll do more work for them. Hi everyone.
Hi, yeah.
So how do you compare like Tokyo game shows with Anime Expo in terms of so many people? It's very different.
Well, both of them have a lot of people, but what I notice is that there are a lot of guys in Tokyo Game Show. More guys, and I think less cosplayers running around the hall. Like what I've seen here in Anime Expo, like there are many cosplayers like just going around, like full gear. But in Tokyo Game Show, I think they just appear during like the what do you call that? Cosplay collection nights, like certain nights.
Yeah, I saw you last year.
Really awesome.
Can you tell us a little bit about your career? I mean, how it got started? I mean, was it like you just started cosplaying, and you started working here, then started working there and stuff like that? I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I started cosplaying when I was 15. That was 10 years ago. So do the math. Just kidding. Yeah, 10 years ago, I started joining competitions. Our first event was for the game Ragnarok Online. It was a launching, so I started together with my sister. We joined the competition. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but we really enjoyed the experience. So after that, we kept on doing other events like Culture Crash. We did Final Fantasy, cosplays, other video games because we're really gamers. And then after a while, I started judging competitions locally. And then after that, I got events from abroad. I forgot which one was the first one abroad, but within Asia first. So like Singapore, Hong Kong, then Indonesia, Malaysia. Then after a while, I got also invites from Australia, Italy. So and finally here in Anime Expo because I've heard a lot about this convention and it's an honor to be here. So yeah.
Thanks.
How do you consider more stressful for you, being a judge on a cosplay contest or participating in one?
Actually, it's the same, I guess, because it's hard really to judge a cosplay because it depends on the criteria or how they prepare and what the other judges are looking for. But at the same time, being in the competition is really stressful because you don't know what the judges would expect from you. But of course, you give it your all, like your time, your effort, and everything. It's like your last performance, they say. So yeah, both is hard.
So what was it like shooting with Fhm Magazine since you're recently on the cover with the Philippines?
Well, it was kind of different because I was not in costume. Yeah, it was kind of different. But at the same time, I was looking into like not doing it overboard. Like they know that I have my limitations and they respect that. And so far it went well, yeah.
You looking to do more modeling work outside of cosplay then?
My heart lies in cosplay, so that would be just on the side. Of course.
You got a favorite cosplay?
I usually would say that I like cosplaying as schoolgirls because they're easy to do, but I also like challenging myself doing monsters. But it's a bit hard because some people, even if I talk to them today, they won't recognize me tomorrow because I'm like completely different. But it's fun, yeah.
I know here like a little while ago you were in the Middle East talking to John Rhys Davies. How was that?
John Rhys Davies, it was amazing. He's really nice. Like I didn't expect him to be so tall. Just kidding. Yeah, because for the longest time we thought like it was really convincing that he was Gimli in Lord of the Rings. But he was very accommodating. You wouldn't think that he's like a huge, huge star. It's like awesome, awesome.
Well, speaking of movie stars, you actually act in a lot of movies yourself, like in the Philippines. Do you plan to do any more of that?
Well, hopefully, but I'd like to be part of like maybe a fantasy series or something that involves costumes and like kick-ass girls. Like something like Tomb Raider or Underworld, something like that. Hopefully.
So, can you tell us about your experience when doing the photograph with Shade Galanti?
Jade
You know, the
Atlantic.
Phoenix, famous Phoenix.
Oh,
photo,
yeah. That picture actually, we did it in one day, but the process was kind of hard because I had to be on a trampoline.
Yeah.
So I jumped at least 30 times to get the perfect shot. It was fun because that was my workout for the day.
Yeah.
And I didn't wear heels, so it's okay so far. But I think the process there is actually very interesting because my hair was different from the actual. My hair was in a ponytail
Oh.
because if I jump, it goes everywhere, right? So he had to shoot the wig in a different shoot. They just shake it and then they put it back in Photoshop.
Post-production,
Yeah,
yeah.
post-production.
So the end was awesome.
Yeah,
Very,
it's
very.
like just one shot, then delete the others. That's Jade Lolante. Yeah.
So what's the silliest thing or strangest thing that's ever happened to you in an event?
Silliest thing or strangest thing? I really can't say because so far I enjoy every event and I don't know. It's fun. I haven't really experienced anything different so much. Yeah.
So did your family knew about cosplay when you started it?
They actually had no idea what it
Oh.
was. Because when I started back in 2003, like it wasn't really popular. Nobody knew about cosplay back in the Philippines. Like, especially my parents, they were so culture shocked.
Yeah.
And then at one point, they actually asked me to stop doing cosplay because it's getting too expensive. So I started to stop eating and save all my allowance to make a costume. Yeah, but then after that, we won. So my mom said, okay, like she's happy that, yeah, there's something there. Yeah.
So she's very happy right now with you made a nice career of cosplay.
I hope so, I hope so. But now she doesn't come with me as much because she gets tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can't keep up. Yeah.
And you have been to several anime conventions around the world, and you yourself were telling us that your experience in the beginning had this cultural shock because cosplay was not such a mainstream thing. So can you tell us a little bit about your different experiences, cosplay-wise, and those different places in the world? Like, how have you seen they perceive cosplay? Even though they are all anime conventions, they must have different like feelings, cosplay-wise.
Actually, what I noticed is that each country has their own style in terms of like cosplay. Like in the Philippines, we're more known for our robots. Like it's very easy to get rubber sheets back in Manila, so it's easy to create armor, to create transformers, Iron Man, or whatever. But I also realized that rubber sheets are harder to get in other countries, so they have different materials that they use. Like I don't know, in Singapore they use another thing called like what do you call it? PVC, plastic sheets, plastic boards. Same here in the US. I think rubber sheets is not very popular here. And then in Australia, I met this guy who used clear fiberglass to make his armor. It looks like ice. So it's amazing because you see different takes on like a single character. Some use carton, some use plastic, some use rubber. But it's amazing because yeah, we share our like how we do our work. So it's cool.
Thank you.
This the first time in the States for you?
Actually, I've been here a lot because I have relatives living in LA, but it's my first time here in Anime Expo, and it's amazing to be here with you guys. saving that for tomorrow because tomorrow's the masquerade. So far, I've seen a lot of amazing cosplayers right now. Like, when I was walking by the hall just on my way to this press con, I saw, I'm not sure if it's a girl or a boy, but he had huge wings. It was far in, so I really can't see. But it looked amazing. Like, it was full costume, full makeup, and everything. But tomorrow, we'll see. Yes.
How is Anime Expo different from the back in the Philippines, like the cosplay?
Well,
expos?
definitely this is a lot larger. There's so many people here. And for the cosplay, like, I realized that here, a lot of cosplayers walk around and it seems like they're like competing. Not really competing. I mean, the quality is really amazing. Yes, amazing here. And what I've heard from, there was a guy who attended the signing session earlier. I thought his costume was really good, so I told him if he's joining the masquerade tomorrow. He said that his costume wasn't even masquerade qualified or something. But for me, it's really amazing. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Will you be judging tomorrow?
Yes, I will.
Question. We know that you cosplay and you make your own props, and we know that you make very elaborated props.
Thank you.
Do you like making challenging ones or easy ones? What is the process that you go through when you make your props?
Well, I kind of pick the props. Sometimes I like those that are intricate. Like for Final Fantasy, there are lots of swirls and colors. And I like working with that because before I got into cosplay, I love to illustrate, I love to color, I love to paint. So I hope that my skills there would translate to my cosplay works.
Do you go by the artwork or do you go off by your own illustrations on the props?
Before I like to cosplay like my favorite characters like from Final Fantasy Riku and then Death Note, Misa. But right now I design my own characters.
You were discussing different materials in different places like that. What materials do you like to work with when you're making your props?
I usually work with rubber sheets because first of all they're easy to get and second they're really cheap. It's like for a big mat it's about maybe $3. So that's really cheap and you can make a whole armor set with just one sheet. And then I also like to use something called Epoxy Clay. I think you use it in the bathroom. So when you try to seal like leaks or something, but it's really durable because I made a staff and then out of rubber sheets, but after a while the rubber sheets like they get dented, they get destroyed. But after that I tried to recreate it with epoxy clay. So now even if I try to smash it on the floor, it doesn't really break. So yeah, it's really durable.
So do you prefer doing the costume itself or maybe characters with weapons? You prefer like action characters with weapons or more like the costume and that's it?
I prefer characters with weapons, please. Yes.
So you had an experience both as a cosplayer and now as a judge, from several events. So if you were to give an advice to all those cosplayers, because I imagine like having the opportunity of judging expands your vision of cosplay. So what would that advice be for them to improve their work?
Well, for me, it's a never-ending learning process. So I always advise, well, not really newbie cosplayers, but also like old cosplayers to maybe visit recent conventions because there will always be new ways how to make props. Like there will be new materials, new things. Like before, LED wasn't very popular, so me and my dad we put LEDs in our costumes. Then now there's what we call EL wires, electroluminescent wires. They're just like a whole thing that lights up, so that's what we use now. Yeah. So I just advise them to go to events like Anime Expo to see what's in right now. Yeah, to improve their craft.
You experimented with 3D printing for any of your stuff at all?
Actually, not yet, but I'm checking Amazon, which is the best printer.
said that you like Final Fantasy, and obviously I've seen that you are a big fan of Kingdom Hearts. Have you ever cosplayed, or who's your favorite character from Kingdom Hearts, and would you ever cosplay as that character?
Actually, I would say, of course, what do you call it, Kyrie, but Kyrie looks better on my sister. So maybe Naminé, but she's too simple for me. I think she's just wearing a white dress. So maybe Maleficent. Evil one.
Following on that, you heard the news that the Kingdom Hearts game is coming out.
Yeah.
The PS4. Are you excited about it, and what console do you prefer?
Of course, I'm excited about Kingdom Hearts coming up again because it's been a while. It's been too long. And then, of course, I'm a huge PlayStation fan. Of course. And I'm looking forward to the PS4. So, yeah.
So when you choose a character, do you think about it like it will fit you like physique, or you just if you like the character, you don't, doesn't matter if it will be look good as you or not?
Actually, that's pretty challenging because first, one of the characteristics I look at in a character, if it's possible that I play the character, if I have at least a little similarity to it, and then if there's a slight chance, maybe I could work out for the character. Something like what actresses do, like sometimes they diet for their character or they gain a few pounds for their character to make it look more, what do you call that? To make it look more, to make it look better on them. But sometimes if I see a character that doesn't fit me, I try to stay away because whatever you do, it's really hard to copy that character. Unless you really rely on Photoshop, but that's hard when you're in an event because you can't really Photoshop everyone's pictures.
Have you ever considered doing like a panel vendor of some male character you like?
Actually, I did it once, but it wasn't so effective, so I didn't bother anymore. I think I'm too girly.
Is there a character that matches your personality in real life?
I think there is. That would be Misa from Death Note.
Okay.
Like, she's really happy and Genki, energetic, but behind her, she's evil. Just kidding. Yeah.
Good to know.
Hmm?
Good to know.
Okay.
Good to know. That's why I love weapons and abilities. Yeah.
Oh, I saw your photo shoot with Yaya Han, and it looked really amazing. Do you plan on doing any more photo shoots with other cosplayers worldwide, or is there anybody you want to work with?
Of course, I'm really open to working with different cosplayers, but when I was starting cosplay, actually, Yaya Han was one of my idols, so it was really awesome to be able to shoot with her. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to meeting other cosplayers.
What challenges do you find in the work-life balance? You know, doing a cosplay and then, you know, sitting down playing video games or whatever.
Well, that's very sad because right now I haven't played a lot of games anymore. And because I work too much, my family and friends complain that they don't see me anymore. It's like, oh shucks, but I want to play also. So it's really hard to balance. Sometimes you really lack sleep. I mean, you give up sleep so that you'll be able to hang out with your family or your friends.
So,
Has- Go ahead.
have you ever been in South America?
South America, not yet. Hopefully.
Hopefully it happens sometime.
Okay. Has there been a situation when you were making a cosplay and it was too hard, and did you ever give up on something halfway?
I have worked on a lot of costumes that I never finished because it's not really because it's hard. It's more of I wasn't able to find time to finish it. But they're actually just at home, so if I find time, I can still finish it. So,
Can you
yeah.
share what they are?
There's one that Soul Calibur. I forgot her name. She's the girl in white with a huge staff. And never mind, it's really funny if I explain it. But there's another character that, for another video game called Tinier Me, I made a bow which is like taller than myself. but I never finished it because the bow had armor as well. Yeah.
You ever have a material you absolutely despise to work with?
Despise maybe carton. Just kidding. Illustration boards. Because before, when rubber sheets weren't so popular, it's what you used to make robots or armors. So, but carton, you see, bends a lot easily and it destroys easily. So, I mean, you put a lot of effort to make your props and it just gets destroyed. So, I don't really recommend that.
What is one material that you, let's say somebody is going to get into cosplay, that you actually say, don't use it, wait until you train a little more, as materials go?
Actually, it's supposed to be fiberglass because I think it's very dangerous because it's toxic. But actually, rubber sheets is also a bit toxic because the glue we use is cyanoacrylate, and when you get it onto your skin, it burns. So just maybe be careful. Yeah.
Can you tell us about the cosplay you're currently wearing?
Yeah. Actually, this is one of my own designs, but I haven't given her a name yet. It's just inspired by butterflies. So yeah, I like swirly stuff and colorful ones.
How do you compare, because I've seen in Japan, the cosplayers tend to pay too much attention to the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Seen some different countries, it's very different. How do you think about that in America and in Japan, the difference in the makeup?
I think it's alright because in Japan they like to use very heavy makeup to emphasize their eyes, right? But in America, I think they have eyes that are big enough, so they don't need as much makeup. Me, I have to draw my eyes, so yeah, I guess that's an excuse. But I mean, to each his own. Like, if you really need to copy a character, and then your facial features are not really as close, so maybe you can do contouring to emphasize it, like to make your features look sharper, and that's okay. But I realize that for Caucasians, like they don't need to contour as much because it looks same with the character already.
Any advice for beginning cosplayers on their first costume that they should be aware of?
What they should wear, well, maybe I can just advise that they start with simpler ones. Because sometimes if you try to tackle on something very intricate or very hard, it makes you depressed. Just kidding. But something simpler, and then with that, you can learn to like tackle harder ones in the future.
You mentioned that guy on the title. When you first started cosplaying, who was the inspiration at the time?
Yayahan.
Was Yayahan?
It was Yayahan because she started like more than 13 years. I'm not sure, 13 years ago. So I see her works on the internet. It's like, wow, she's amazing. And then now I get to meet her, and now I actually took her around Manila to where I got my material. So now we're really good friends.
Okay, so you appeared in the Filipino Fhm Top 100 Sexiest Women since 2009. And you were also named by Uno Magazine one of the most influential women in the Philippines. Can you tell us your feelings about this?
Actually, funny about FHM because I never really expected to be like part of the top 100 sexiest list. Like it came as a surprise, and then the picture they used of me was me wearing the Baroness from G.I. Joe, which was really covered, and everyone in the list was really sexy, but I was really covered, and it was funny. And then for the Uno top most influential, actually that was actually a surprise also. Like I never expected to be one of the most influential girls or women because I'm actually very shy. Like I remember back in high school, it was really hard for me to talk in front of a crowd. Like for example, that our teacher asks asks a question, but I would know the answer, but I deliberately don't answer because I really don't want to talk in front. So yeah, I think cosplay has helped me to open up a little bit.
You also avoided posting for H&M for the last 3 years, and you recently posted it. What made you want to post for it, and what was your experience like?
What made me agree to that is that they told me everything would pass through us. Like if something doesn't fit to our standards, we would say no. So I told them okay, and we agreed. And they said also that July issue was their really big issue. They said, they said, and then so we agreed. We tried to compromise. We tried to meet in the middle, and yeah, it turned out well.
What are your ultimate goals, or at least, or even short-term goals in your career path?
Before, I used to tell others that I'd love to spread the love of cosplay, but I think everyone knows cosplay now, so that's done. But now, let's see, I'd still love to support cosplayers. I mean, even if I'm not cosplaying, I'd still be in the industry, maybe organizing events, helping newbies get into it, and to let them see that there's hope or potential in being a cosplayer, not just as a hobby. Like it can be a career if they do it full time, something like that.
Have you met any recent amateur cosplayer that has caught your attention to promote, for example?
Recently, not yet, but I have actually, not really a stash, but I've interviewed a couple of people that I usually feature on my websites because I find their works amazing, but these are just based on pictures. But just basing on the pictures, they really did a great job. Usually there are robots and stuff. So yeah, and it's not limited to the Philippines. Like I try to, oh my god, I try to lurk on the internet and find amazing people. Yeah.
So, what was it like shooting with Segatron on their music video for Hey Alodia?
It was fun because there were a bunch of kids. Actually, oh my gosh, I feel so old. They're like a lot younger than I am. And then, so when we shot, it was fun. They were amazing people. Actually, I find them like geniuses because the main vocalist, his name is Silver. He does not only sing, but he plays the piano, he plays the guitar, I think the drums as well. So these people are really talented, and it's amazing to be able to work with these guys and become their friends. Yeah.
What do you think makes you so popular, and what would be the most unique features?
Actually, that's a very tough question. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know why people like my picture, but because I used to post a lot of my artworks, and then I get like 1 like, 2 likes, 10 likes if I'm lucky, and then I'm actually happy when I get 10 likes, like on DeviantArt before, and then I tried to do cosplay pictures because it was just a requirement for school. Like we had to make a calendar with pictures. And then when I tried posting that, people suddenly liked a lot of my pictures for some reason. But yeah, I just kept going, and then it eventually grew. As for being unique, I don't know. I think I'm a jack of all trades and king of none. Yeah.
What's a good movie you've seen lately?
Good movie I've seen lately? World War Z. Or I'm just really biased to zombies because I love playing horror games like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Fatal Frame, and zombies are really cool. But these zombies run, so oh my gosh, it's amazing.
What are your favorite anime genres?
Anime genres would be
Especially series.
oh yeah. because the main character, I kind of relate to her. Like, I want to be a magician. Just kidding. But she's very clumsy, and I'm very clumsy as well. So yeah.
Outside of the Kingdom Hearts games, is there any others that you're looking forward to?
Well, they mentioned that they were gonna revive the other Final Fantasy versus, but they renamed it to Final Fantasy 14, I think. 15. It's very confusing now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that because it was a while. It was hyped up a lot years ago, and then it's like it just stopped. And Noctis was very cool. And other games, maybe Bayonetta 2.
Maybe future cosplay.
Oh, people ask a lot about Bayonetta, but I've seen a lot of great cosplayers do her already. But maybe the new one.
Might have to cut your hair for that one.
I'm gonna use a wig.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she cut her hair. I think I have the perfect wig already. It's a new idea. Just kidding.
Is there an upcoming cosplay, or is there something you're working on right now that you can share with us, cosplay-wise?
Usually keep it to myself. It's a surprise, but actually not yet. I haven't been working on anything new. But if I had the time, I would love to cosplay Diablo.
Diablo.
Yeah.
From Diablo 3?
Okay, wait. I don't want to spoil anything.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, Diablo from Diablo 3.
So do you prefer like in terms of the anime, the newer ones or the classics like Sensei or older animes? When you choose a
Actually,
cosplay?
I'm open to the new ones, just as long as they don't reach 200 episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's manageable. And then, of course, I also like the classics because it's what I grew up with. Yeah.
And it's not about some anime you watched when you were a kid.
Of course, Sailor Moon, and then Fushigi Yugi, Rurouni Kenshin, Flame of Recca, and what else? Trying to remember. Well, Full Metal Alchemist, and then Witchblade. Yeah, those are manageable.
Yeah.
So which ones do you prefer yourself, anime or dub?
Actually, I really love the subtitled ones because the dubs, although they're great because you can focus more on the artwork, but there's a different feeling if you really hear the original Japanese voices behind the characters.
The culture, maybe? Is it the culture too, or what attracts you more? Or why do you prefer subs?
Because in Nihongo, I think they have a different way of saying things, the intonation, the feelings. I think it's really hard also to directly translate some phrases or sentences like Yoroshiku onegai shimasu in Japanese is hard to directly translate to English. But what they told me is that it means please take care of me. But it's what you say when you meet someone. So please take care of me. It's really hard.
How many languages do you know exactly?
Just two, English and Tagalog. But I'm trying to study Nihongo of course, for my work in Tokyo. But I actually took it up one semester in college. But if you don't practice it, you really can't improve on the language. So again, I'm trying to relearn Nihongo.
How many times have you been to Tokyo?
I think about 4 or 5 times. Yes.
And so Tokyo is bidding for the 2020 Olympics. Do you have any thoughts about why it would be a good host country?
Well, first of all, I love the food in Tokyo, so that would be really cool for them, I guess. And then people in Tokyo are really nice. I mean, they're very welcoming, and I think it's great to be able to see a remember before we had a cosplay charity dates. It's not cosplay for a cause because that's another project we did. But the first one we did was we had cosplayers perform for unfortunate kids, and then back then I was teaching art to the kids. And then after that, when cosplay was a big part of my life now, we did a calendar called Cosplay for a Cause with Yaya Han, with other known cosplayers all over the world, and the proceeds were donated to the Japan relief from the tsunami thing. And then we also came out with a book called Geekology 101 with Jada Blanco, so the proceeds also go to charity.
What inspires your costumes more, Eastern culture or Western culture?
I would say Eastern culture because that's where I grew up. But sometimes I also try to divert my art with Western influences. Like sometimes I draw anime. I draw a lot of anime manga. And then after a while, I try to shift my style to Western comics. So even the character design that goes along with it changes. Because like Marvel characters have like their characters show more of the body form, and then while the Eastern they have a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. So I try to mix it.
Is there anyone now that you still haven't met yet that you'd love to meet and get to know to admire them?
That would be Jessica Nigri.
Hi, Jessica.
If you see this video. Yeah, I actually saw in the program guide, but I'm not sure where that booth is. So maybe I'll see her sometime.
We'll tell you said hi.
Since we are in Los Angeles, is there a specific actor or actress you'd like to be?
Of course, it would be Robert Downey, and then Captain America, and yeah.
So the Avengers. You want the Avengers?
The Avengers.
The Avengers, definitely, and also Angelina Jolie, but she's not part of the Avengers, but she's cool.
But she was Lara, so.
Yeah, that's still cool. Something I guess like people related to anime or video games in the movie industry, I really love to meet.
Have you ever been approached to do like a voice dub or maybe use the image on anime or maybe games?
Sorry.
You do the voice dub for any games. Have you been approached for that? Or?
So far not yet, but I'd
Like
really
it?
love to. Yeah, I'd love to get involved in making a video game. Because if I wasn't doing cosplay, I would be a character designer for a video game. I'd love to be a character designer for video games.
What kind of video game would you like to make?
Actually anything. At first I wanted to work with Squaresoft, Square Enix, but I'm also getting divided because of Blizzard. Yeah, so I have friends over there, so yeah. Hopefully any game would be cool.
What's the best convention you've been to so far?
Each has their own, so I really can't compare them. Because in Anime Expo, you see a lot of people who love anime, who dress up in anime characters, and then, for example, in San Diego Comic Con, it's a different world. Like the cosplayers you see are not actually from anime or video games, but instead of comics. So it's different. So I really can't say which one's the best. But of course, here in the US, Anime Expo.
What other places in the United States have you been besides here and where your family's at?
LA, I've been to New York. Yeah, but Las Vegas and what else? Can't remember. So far those. Yeah.
Can you explain where your nickname AG comes from?
LG, it's actually a combination of my parents' name. So my dad's name is Ed, mom's name is Jane, and then I'm their firstborn, so edgy, so. Yeah.
Are the fans different from east versus the west? How do they treat you? Are they different in different aspects?
Well, it's okay. I mean, here they're very respectful. Also, back in the Philippines, they're really respectful. But I think in Manila, they're more noisy. Just kidding. They're happier. Like, and if you like take out the camera, everyone would flock to the camera. It's fun. It's fun though. So yeah.
Do you have any convention horror stories?
Horror stories. Actually, there is, but it was way, way, way back. When we were doing like a photo session in one of the conventions, one of my friends saw that there were two guys who was trying to take a picture of me beside me, and then one of his friends was taking a photo from underneath, and then they caught him, so they had them delete the photo. Which, oh, it's really bad, but I think it never happened again, to my knowledge. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that also reminds me. Here in the States, they started campaigning this thing called cosplay does not equal consent. So yeah, how do you feel about that?
I actually took a picture already with that, but I haven't posted it yet. But I think it's right. I mean, just because you're in cosplay doesn't give you the consent to do whatever they want. I mean, they're still human, like at least a little respect in what we do. So yeah, I support the cause. Because yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I was a victim of something like it.
Is there anything else you want to do while you're out here in LA?
There was one that we actually did already yesterday. We ate at Panda Express. It's one of our favorites. And then I wanted to go to Cold Stone and Michael's, the art store. Pretty much just simple things like Disneyland.
Any other sites you'd like to see here in the States, like, you know, Grand Canyon, stuff like that?
Actually, I really wanted to go, but we haven't planned for that yet. So maybe when we come back, yeah, I'd love to go there.
What are your plans for San Diego?
Incognito. Yeah, it's my time to shop. Just kidding. Because the first time we were in San Diego Comic Con, we were filming a documentary for Morgan Spurlock, like the director for Super Size Me, and I wasn't really able to enjoy the convention because instead of going around, we were filming and stuff. So now I'd really love to just hang out.
How much time do you take to prepare your cosplay for a convention?
It actually depends on the details of the costume, so probably 2 to 3 weeks. If it's more complicated, a month or more. Yeah.
Have you ever like thought about the cosplay that it would take you more time, like a project that is time to do, like big armor or something like that?
Actually, yeah. Sometimes you don't really realize that you're spending so much time on one project because you don't expect, like for example, you do paint. It's not that after you paint, it's done. You have to wait for a few hours to let it dry for the next layer. So everything adds up, and then you just realize that you spent maybe a whole 2 weeks on it or something. Yeah.
So do you how do you manage to have free time, you know, to do your things and then you cosplay and then you do presentations?
I don't see.
You like to work on the night for example, for cosplay, you like to work on nights or?
Like after after photo shoots or video shoots, I work on my costume. And then on the next day, before I leave the house, I still work on my costume. So I really, if I need to finish something, I give up sleep just to be able to finish that project.
But how much money do you think you spend on cosplay a year, or month, year, whatever?
I lost track, I'm sorry. It's like having a collection. You don't really keep tabs on on everything you spend for, so a lot.
Do you keep your cosplays or you pass along your system?
Before, when I was still in school, I used to sell my costumes, so I have funds for my next outfit. But now I try to keep them because of sentimental purposes. So I kind of regret that I sold like my older costumes. But it's okay, because I remember like recently on my birthday, one of my friends gave me one of the old costumes I've sold. So he found a guy who actually bought my costume and bought it back from him and gave it to me. Like, that's so sweet. So yeah.
You were talking about Yaya Han being one of your idols, and she runs a like an accessory store. Have you thought about doing something like that?
Yeah, that would be great. Actually, I used to make doll accessories before, like for doll thieves, ball jointed dolls, and I used to ship them all over the world, like the US, in London and stuff. But I got too busy with school and cosplay, so I kind of stopped. But I'd like to get back into it, and of course, add cosplay accessories as well.
Have you seen the usual videos of cosplay or in the conventions that you can find on YouTube? You know, the videos with all the cosplayers. Have you seen that?
I've seen different features, yeah. Like the ones that are very dramatically taken, the ones that are casual, like, and there are ones that are really funny also. So,
Yeah, with the slow-mo.
yeah, still movement.
Would you like to be in one or something?
Yeah, of course, that would be great. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier some places use PVC, which is polyvinyl chloride. Some of the materials can be carcinogenic. Are you afraid of any of the materials that you use to do cosplay might have a health risk involved with them?
Actually, my mom is worried about that. Because sometimes when I work with my materials, it's very dangerous and I forget to put my mask. So yeah, it's quite dangerous, but I think if you handle them correctly, it's okay. He said last question.
Are you still in school? And
I-
if you are, what is your major?
I actually graduated back in 2009.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been a while. And yeah, I took up information design. Yeah, it's like graphic design, marketing, prod design. It's everything. Yeah.
can you use that with
It's
your
at-
career?
actually at first I thought I wanted to change courses, but at the end I realized it was very helpful because when I started organizing my events, I was doing all the marketing, all the promotions online. It really helped a lot. And yeah, guys, if you have pictures, please tag me on Twitter, Alodia Almira. So yeah, all right, thank you guys.
Thank you.